Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name's Jared Beckwith. I work as an EEG technologist. What that is, if you don't know, I hook up a bunch of wires to people's scalp and record their brain activity, mostly for diseases such as seizures. Yesterday, I traveled to different hospitals for my first time. So the hospital I work at, they have a network of hospitals that all do EEG, but the main lab is based at one specific hospital in Tampa, and then the others, they just branch out into the surrounding areas, and we'll send one person to do an EEG if they have to do it in that specific area and they can't come to the main hospital in Tampa. So I traveled for my first time. I was able to do a couple patients at a hospital by myself. One of my supervisors introduced me to the hospital. He showed me around and then just left me to do my thing, and I got it done. So I was excited about that. So I got done at around 8 o'clock. I was able to leave by 8:10. And then another interesting thing is that I was on call for the first time. So if you don't know what that is, so pretty much at the end of your shift, you go home, you keep your phone on, or some hospitals will have like a pager that you take, and during the middle of the night, if you get called in for like a stat EEG, an EEG that has to be done, like it needs to be done for the patient, then you get called in and you do the EEG, but you get overtime pay, which is good. And I think you get paid just a little bit just for keeping your phone on, even if you don't have to come in. So with a little bit of overtime, I ended up making $350 in that day, which is pretty good, pretty solid. And I'm gonna use that money for my EEG technology that, I just started making. So during an EEG, you have to document on the record when a patient's eyes are open and eyes are closed. And you usually wanna ask the patient to open and close their eyes in a relaxed state so you can see the reactivity of the background of the EEG. When the patient has their eyes closed in a relaxed state, the posterior dominant rhythm is best seen, which is an alpha rhythm of 8 to 12 hertz. You're going to want to see if the background is symmetric, continuous, and if it's reactive with eye opening and eye closure. So with eye opening, the background attenuates, or it gets lower in amplitude, and the posterior dominant rhythm isn't as easily seen. Here's an example of my automatic annotation software for eyes open, eyes closed. This is just the first version. It's literally still in the code editor, so it's not for sale, not for release yet. It's still in the testing stages. So there's a couple things that I'm still testing and improving before I release it out to the first 100 hospitals that I do beta testing with. So it's still in alpha testing. Only me and my engineers are testing the software. So a couple things that I want to improve before I release it for a beta testing to a limited number of hospitals is these few things on my whiteboard. On the top of the whiteboard, we have what is known as marketing KPI, or key performance indicator. That is the one metric which I would take as the most important metric for my marketing. So that is a retargeting list. Pretty much what that is, it's a list of people who have watched my videos in the past and are interested in EEG. Now, that makes a lot of sense because you don't want to send advertisements to people who don't know who you are. They're just going to want to skip your ads, and they're not going to care about you because they don't know who you are. They don't know why you're interrupting their day to send a message to them. But if you know who I am and you've seen my videos before, it makes sense, and they will convert at a much higher rate, at a more profitable rate. So below that, we have eyes open, eyes closed. That's the main problem that I'm working on right now. And the main problem, one of the problems that I realized is that it doesn't work on people who are, you only see a side of their head, so you can only see really one eye. So it needs to be both eyes in the picture right now in its current state. It only works under like perfect conditions. Another thing it does is that it guesses eyes open too often, so it's not sensitive enough to eyes closing. It doesn't work at different distances as well. It has to be at like perfect distance in the webcam. And also, the last thing is that it doesn't work in low light as well. The lighting kind of has to be perfect. But we literally went from nothing to something that actually works, which is a big improvement. We have a minimum viable product, and we have lots of improvements to make. Me and my brother Christopher, who's one of my engineers, he's a genius, and he's going to help me build this into what it will become in the future. and all the other new features, they can wait. I'm just going to focus on this specific thing, and in the future I'm going to be adding seizure detection, focal slowing detection, and all that good stuff, sleep stages too. I guess I could work with a few small like neurology offices as well, but I think my product is best suited for the hospital environment. In ICU patients, it's important to get samples of the patient with their eyes open and their eyes closed. But if they're intubated or they're just pretty much unconscious, then they can't follow commands to open and close their eyes. So you have to manually open their eyes, and you have to document it on the EEG as passive eyes opening, and then you passively close their eyes as well. But the hard part about that is, from an EEG technologist perspective, is that if you're manually opening the patient's eyes, how can you be typing on the EEG passive eye opening? So if you want to get it to the exact moment where you passively open their eyes, if you want to do that, you have to go back into the review. You have to slide the annotation over to where you first started passively opening their eyes, because you can't do it at the same time. But if the software automatically did it and detected eyes opening and eyes closed, my software AiON, that's what the first version does, then it's automatically done for you, and it paints a better picture for the reading neurologist. So that's kind of what an EEG tech does. They paint a picture for the neurologist as best as they can, and you can't always do it perfectly. You're not always under perfect conditions. For example, another useful case is in patients with altered mental status. So they can't always follow commands just as well as a routine outpatient can follow commands. So that's pretty much the basics about my software. Just stay updated, guys. Subscribe to me on YouTube, hit the like button on this video, and connect with me on LinkedIn. Shoot me a message if you want to try my software, or if you have any suggestions on features that I should build, because this is just version 1. In the future, I'm gonna have focal slowing detection, I'm gonna have seizure detection, sleep stage detection. It's gonna be great stuff using artificial intelligence. It's gonna be amazing, guys, but this is just version 1. If you have any other features or suggestions, let me know on LinkedIn. Just shoot me a message, or in the YouTube comments as well. That works. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on the next video.